A really interesting, action-packed day today, looking at the value of marina chains, the economic impact that our industry creates for the host communities we work in, how digital transformation can unlock the value for our customers and for our own businesses, the importance of staff training, of the right insurance and risk mitigations, and also a deep dive into the regulatory landscape, the rules in place now, and what we think the rules will be in the future. So without further ado, let's invite John White onto the stage to introduce his panelists. Come on, John, we've practiced this. Come on, John, we've practiced this. The first session where we're delighted to have with us some of the world-leading marina chains to share their expertise. Thank you, John.
Morning, all. So yeah, it's a great pleasure to be up here. I was very much hoping it was going to be Shirley, and you're absolutely right, Joe. There are no gold medals, a few gold teeth, but that's about it. Yeah, looking forward to today, and you know, we have the opportunity now to make this as interactive as possible. Some of you may wish to use the app, that's fine, but we'll also have this roving mic, which we'll pick up in a moment. So it's my pleasure in kicking off today's conference with the Marina chains. So looking at the chains, it's your opportunity to find out as much as you would like about get the inside track on what the chains are thinking. So I'm very pleased to call to the stage Andrea de Santis, who's the CEO of D-Marin. Lovely to see you. Kenny Jones, MD of Global Operations for IGY. We have Kristijan Pavic, who's Chairman of the Board of ACI Marinas in Croatia. Morning, Kristijan. Mauro Scali, Head of Corporate and Financial Affairs for Marinedi Marinas. And John Matheson, who's the founder and president of F3 Marinas in America. And I believe Gabriela Marins from BR Marinas in Brazil is also going to join us. How are we going to kick this off? But yeah, so Hayley, if you haven't got the roving mic yet, so and please, if you have got a question, either go through the app or just simply raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. So really, without further ado, is everyone comfortable? Good, excellent. Well, have you got a mic, Kenny? Yes. There you go, there's one, look at that. So
hello,
Kenny,
over.
Yeah, morning. So I think to kick things off, it'd be really interesting just for you to give just an overview of your marina portfolio, which is growing significantly, isn't it? So where are your marinas, Kenny?
Okay, so for those who don't know, IGY was a vision of a gentleman called Andrew Farkas, who's the chairman of Island Capital in Manhattan. And he came up with this vision in 2005, mainly because he had a Perini and he wasn't overly impressed with the level of customer service, predominantly in the Caribbean. So he formed a fund and we started construction of Yacht Haven Grand in St. Thomas. Very high end, it's the jewel of our portfolio even now. And then it sort of grew and grew and grew. I joined the company 18 years ago. Perfect timing in 2008, as you can imagine, not that clever. But the focus was heavily focused on the Americas. So we built a portfolio of marinas focusing predominantly on the mega yachts of the world and trying to bring the level of service up. And as I said yesterday, focusing on the captains and the support you can give the captains. That's been sort of our success line, the captain's crew, etc. Because it is a business for them. They're running hundreds of $1 million worth of assets. now what actually happened was we were very comfortable. We had a nice portfolio of facilities in the Americas, Cabo San Lucas, Panama, several locations. And then we found a few of our customers were wondering why we weren't in Europe. And so that generated our curiosity. We started investigating opportunities in Europe. Our biggest and most proudest moment was to bid on Cannes. And biggest shock to me being, I know I'm English, but I still consider myself European. We actually won the bid, we won the tender, and we're investing 100 million euros there in extending and improving Cannes, not only on the marina, but also some of the upland. And within a very short period, we've now got more slips in the Mediterranean than we do in the whole of the Americas. And the next step, which sort of fell into our lap, was Saudi Arabia, where we worked, and we still continue to work very closely with NEOM on their facilities. We opened Sindala Island. I know there was big press on about that. The opening happened, there was a whole review. It's still under review. We're still there supporting not just that one island and that one project, but NEOM in understanding the industry, develop other facilities. And more recently, we're very proud to have partnered and working with the wind project in Ras Al Khaimah, just north of the city of Dubai itself, where there's a $5 billion development happening by wind, and we are assisting wind in the design, the construction, and obviously we're going to be operating that marina facility. That's where we are now. We're not stopping. We are tending to focus a little bit further to the east, because I think that's where the next step's going to happen.
Excellent.
That's the short version.
No, that's great, Kenny. Thanks so much for that, and we'll try and sort of tease out of you as the session goes on, where you're going next. But I'd like to move on to Kristijan. And Kristijan, you run ACI Marinas in Croatia, 22 marinas, I believe, which is the largest chain within the Med-Adriatic area. And so could you just give us a little bit of an overview of your chain and obviously your business drivers as well?
First of all, good morning, everyone. ACI is a chain established back in 1983. So whole idea behind was to get most out of Adriatic, of Croatian part of the Adriatic. We started with construction of 16 marinas in 18 months. So it was a huge project that gave us a boost. And during that time, that Croatia was part of ex-Yugoslavia, and afterwards the ACI remained in the hands of Croatian government, meaning that although we are stock-listed company, majority shareholder of ACI is state of Croatia. So that's, briefly, we operate 22 marinas along the Croatian coastline, only in Croatia, from the most northern one in Umag down to south in Dubrovnik. Out of these 22 marinas, we have 4 seasonal marinas which are operating only during a season, meaning opening early April and closing roughly in couple days, because it's simply the operation there cannot be held during whole season. For us, we have new projects in cooperation with Lursen, German shipbuilder. They, through their Gitone Kvarner company, they established in Croatia. So we were granted 23rd concession in city of Rijeka, where our headquarters are, and we do believe to start end of this year or early next year with the construction of that marina. So that's briefly at ACI.
Hello, am I still there? Yeah, thank you for that. That's a really nice overview. And so, John, maybe you could move on to you and F3 and give us an insight into your the scale of your marina operations.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. F3 Marina is based, the Marina division, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the U.S. Our corporate office is actually in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We manage about 25 marinas throughout the United States, Central America, and now expanding into Europe and Greece and other places. We're predominantly a third-party manager, managing marinas for funds, for governments, port authorities. Many of those marinas we have investment in, but we're probably best known for a fully automated marina that we built in Fort Lauderdale. It's the tallest dry stack marina in the world, extremely high-end and very technically advanced. It is able to store a boat up to 15 meters, about 45, 47 feet, 130 feet in the air, again, fully automated, in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, which, as many of you know, is a quite active boating market. That's given us the most awareness around the world. We've actually been receiving calls, surprisingly, from places outside the United States to see about expanding that concept as the whole market has changed towards younger people that don't want to commit a lot of time into boating but still want to boat. What's the easiest way for them to do so and keep their boat protected from the elements? So we find that that's something of interest for us to expand that concept, and we're looking to do so into other markets. So that's the short story.
Fascinating, and I know we've got a session later on today looking a little bit more detail into dry stack and dry storage. So I think we'll find out more about that amazing marina in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, it's worth noting too, my partner David Banke is going to be giving a talk later today in more detail about that particular marina and the technology behind it.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of the slides on your website. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, good. And Gabriela, could I move on to you? Is that okay? Given that we're sort of down in the Americas, and so you're from BR Marinas in Brazil, and well, could you just tell our audience a little bit about BR Marinas?
Okay, so we are, thank you very much for being here. So we are the only network of marinas in Brazil. We do host, we have 10 marinas up to now. They are all in the state of Rio de Janeiro. They all have different characteristics. We hold 2,500 boats up to now. And it's very interesting because we have one of our marinas is right in the city center of Rio, right beside the regional airport. So we have a very big part in events. So we host the Rio Marathon, we host a contemporary art fair. So it's a very vivid area. And on the other hand, we have in Marina Verome the biggest maintenance yard in Latin America. So using one marina and the other marina, so for our customers, it's very interesting to use all the facilities that we have and still have the standard, the right standard in services and in reception.
That's lovely. Thank you for that. It's, fascinating to be hearing a lot more about South America and the growth of leisure boating there, which I'm sure isn't a surprise to you, but it's something that we've not discussed at previous conferences. So really interesting. Brilliant. So I think it'd be useful to go on now to Andrea and talk a little bit about D-Marin and your network, which is expanding, and we discussed it, I think, 2 days ago, and it was 26 or 27. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's 27.
27.
27 as always said, but then we amended to 26 just to make sure. Yeah.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit about those 27, where they are, and a bit more of an insight.
So thanks, Gabriela. Coming back to you, to the Med, I'm humble and honored to present D-Marin. D-Marin is a network of marina that span from Spain to Dubai. We're present also in France, Italy, Croatia, Greece, Turkey, and Middle East. The company started from a core portfolio of 8 marinas, and now we expanded to 26 in overall our network. What is important for us is the rigorous approach that we apply to the model and to the acquisition and integration of the marina that over time we are performing and expanding and enriching our network. I do believe that the sector is an inflection point, and we need to transition from marina as a service, which some are also yesterday in the other panel, they talk about more parking, and all the sector needs to transition in a more customer-centric approach, serve the customer in a personalized way with the right investment and the right capex to make the right level of service, the right customer experience, and of course with all the digital and people support enable this development and growth for all the sectors. This is what we do at D-Marin, so we are proudly developing this consistent approach we're applying over and over in all the Mediterranean, and yeah, more to come. Of course, this is our consistent approach that we're going to expand in the future.
Fascinating. Thank you for that. Last but by no means least, so Mauro, in terms of Marinedi, which is, I believe, a chain in Italy, here in Italy.
Yeah, we are focused in Italy. Thank you for letting us be part of such an important event. Marinedi was founded in 2012, at the end of 2012. At those time we had 5 marinas and 2 were minority shares. Now we can count on 13 marinas across Italy, all of them majority, and for about 4,500 birds. Our mission is to create a strategically distributed network of marinas in Italy and in perspective in neighboring countries, in order to let boaters explore a wide cruising area through a single seamless point of contact. Let me add that the distribution is at the heart of our development strategy. We intentionally plan and design the distance between each marina of the network so that a boater with average experience can comfortably cover each leg in a single journey. Very easy. Yes, I think as the guys at D-Marin, we are working to make boat management easier. I think it will be one of the key drive for the future. And at the same time, for visitor boating, we are trying to enhance the potential of any destination by promoting the exploration. We think that marinas are a door to let boaters explore the inland and the surrounding of any marina. And we think, especially in Italy, that's really important.
Fascinating. Thank you for that. Super. Well, already we've got a question coming through the app, and I'd like to talk to you all a little bit more about the customer service angle of things shortly. But we have a question from the floor, which is how does the panel feel about Mr. Alberto Galassi on Wednesday so he's from Ferretti Group, saying that marinas are not doing a good enough job for his customers. So, well, back to Kenny. What do you think about that then, Kenny?
Okay, so that's a tough one.
There you go.
Okay, so I actually do agree. The marina industry, so my history, going back a long time ago, I worked as the operations director for Marina Developments Limited in the UK. And back then, my view of the industry, when I look back now, is that it was very old school, where the definition of giving a customer service on a marina was take the ropes, give them some power, give them some water, and that was it, you've done your job. And actually, it was very rare anyone would actually take your lines. So I think the industry has moved on, you know, leaps and bounds. And as I said about Andrew Farkas, when he took his Perini around the Caribbean, he was very much aware of that. I think we've got a long way to go. I think we've got a huge amount to learn from other industries, such as the hotel industry, the aircraft industry, other organizations. I think we are learning. I think the training level now for our employees has, again, jumped forward. A lot of that has been generated by legislation, the US Coast Guard, for example, the ISPS, all those other things where you have to prove that you train your employees. At the 5 gold anchors, all of this, we're very much aware, I think, as an industry, that we now need to up our game. We need to up our game in who we recruit, invest in their training, invest in their experiences. I mean, our company, I deliberately move good people around, because if they're staying in the same location, they get complacent, it becomes Groundhog Day, they become caretakers. So I move them around all the time. We have a sort of a company policy where every year you have to do something 5% different. Doesn't matter whether it makes money, just do something different, okay? And 5% better. That's all I look for. But I do agree with him, in short, but I do think we are moving very quickly to accommodate the yachting fraternity with the level of service. And we can't generate more money unless we start improving it. And we're all here to serve our investors, and we should focus on it even more.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kenny. We won't talk about it now, but I'm aware of your Trident program, which is clearly, you know, right at the cutting edge, if you like, of giving the ultimate in customer service. And I think that customer service thread is really interesting. Is it? I mean, Kristijan, you in Croatia, there's a significant charter fleets, and you're dealing with a different type of customer there, someone that's actually only coming to your marinas maybe once a year rather than actually a regular berth holder. I mean, how do you see the customer service more with a charter guest focus?
I'm going to also relate on previous question. You know, when we are talking about ferry boat, it can come the owner, the captain, or in charter. So 3 completely different services that you need to provide. And basically, that's the mix match that we have in our portfolio. That we have around 20% of our berths are occupied by the charter boats. So you need to accommodate that kind of the customer, which completely have different habits than the private owner have. So same thing within the same marina. Then when you go on some of the islands where you have our marinas, then you have private owner coming on a cruise with his family, and then you have 6 friends or 10 friends on some bareboat charter having fun and drinks. So mixing all this, satisfying the customers is really challenging for us, and we are trying to find the best way how we do it. So that's one of the advantages being a chain of the marinas, because you can pick up the best experience from all over the places and mix them and give the best service to the customer. It's really challenging, especially with growing number of the charter boats, and something that for sure going to remain in the future. So it's like I said, it's not easy. It's small details that you're improving for each of them, bringing better services and whatever you can bring in the marina for the owners, yacht clubs, etc., better restaurants. Then you need to think as well of the captains and the crew. And on the other hand, when you have charter guests, which can be experienced guys, let's see, and knowing what they are requiring to do, those that replace the staying in a hotel with now the prices in apartments or so on, and just going on the vacation. So.
And it's a fascinating topic, isn't it? A real challenging balance where you might have a marina covering, right from the, a relatively small boat, with a DIY culture and with the boat owner, right the way up to, super yachts, and you're trying to satisfy all those customers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. We've got some more questions coming through, so people are getting used to the app. That's great. So how much do you really think that the right environment management impacts in the customer experience? So I think this is, looking at the sustainability side of things and how important that is to provide, good customer experience to your customers, clearly. Yesterday you heard that sustainability should have a reflection in economic performance. So how would we see that? So from a D-Marin perspective, do you expect to see a return on your investment when it comes to investing in the environment and being sustainable? How does that fit with you, Andreas?
Yes, indeed, ESG is one of our core pillars of our strategy. So we do have employed this massive investment for all our properties centered on sustainability and environmental adherence of laws, but also on the highest standard of EcoVadis and other certification that we accredited throughout the years. So yes, indeed. Also from unified operational excellence perspective, health and safety is one of our core business practice for all our sailors and marineros at the pontoon till the marina manager owning and managing the marina on a daily basis. So this is definitely a cultural approach that is shifted from normal operation to more health and safety kind of oriented practices.
Yeah. And Gabriela, how is investing in the environment seen in amongst your chain in Brazil, in terms of whether you're expecting a return on that investment or whether it is for the pure sake of looking after the environment?
I think we do all expect return on investment for sure. And but as I think that we do have the responsibility of course training everybody. So having safety matters is very important to us, and the continuous training as well. And then trying to bring young boaters and trying to bring with sailing clubs, with the fractional ownership is a big trend now in Brazil. I don't know if it's a big trend here in Europe. And the boat clubs is a trend in the U.S. I saw that Freedom is from Brunswick is growing very big in the U.S. as well. But for sure, every investment that we do think on the feasibility of it, of course. We all do. And talking about Brazil, as we do have only 10 marinas up to now, we do have a huge M&A time. We do have a pipeline very big with 27 other options of marinas that we're looking for. But as we have very big interest rates right now, and then we have a lot of other issues in our country, so a step at a time.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. And you've suggested there about bringing younger boaters, getting younger people involved in boating. And John, earlier on, I think you mentioned sort of boat club, and dry stack fits really well with that, and that picks up on a thread that's coming through the app as well, which is, well, how are we going to encourage younger, more diverse, customer base going forwards? Because we are all very dependent, aren't we, on ensuring that we bring in that new cohort of boaters. So. John, is that something you could pick up on?
Yeah, yes, it's a great point, and something that we thought about when we came up with the concept for F3 Marina Fort Lauderdale, because it recognizes the change that young people have in boating. I mean, I've been a boater all my life, and I would commit to an entire weekend at the boat, family, dog, everything. A lot of young people don't look at it that way. They want to go on their boat for 3 hours or 4 hours, and then they want to go to dinner or do something different. And they don't want to spend a lot of time taking care of their boat, making sure it's protected. At least in the U.S., there's a lot of people in that area. So what F3 Marina does, and what we've been trying to do to take advantage of that trend, is to make it easy for them to boat. So all they do is go on their app, they schedule a time, we have their boat ready, brought down from their rack, and prepared, and they want to have a very high-end experience. They want it to be in a good location as well, which is very important. Previously, a lot of dry stacks were located in industrial areas, and it was not a good experience. So we changed that by locating in a central area, creating a great experience, and making it very easy for those boaters to boat. And when they're done, they just tie up to the slip and walk away, and we make sure their boat is rinsed and cleaned and stored in a hurricane-rated facility. But again, it's creating the right experience for them, making it very easy, and giving them the feeling of comfort that their boat's well protected. But that's taking advantage of that trend, that there's a certain amount of young people that just want it to be a very easy experience.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you're using the word experience there. Because it's, for the younger boater, a lot of them, the research says that's what it's about. It's about the experience. It's not about the ownership. The ownership comes with a lot of hassle, and so it's ensuring that our younger boaters can access those experiences thereafter in an affordable and flexible way, isn't it? And it's something that we're all getting our heads around in different ways. And in the States, obviously Freedom Boat Club kicked off there and is now, doing very well in a broader part of the world. And it is, you look at all the research and it says experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree completely, and it's something that it was discussed in day one for sure, where we have an obligation to provide that experience to boaters. Because even if your marina's full, you're charging a lot of money, you can't take your foot off the gas. You still have to provide a better experience for them, and it's something that I think the marina industry is learning from other industries that are more mature. The hospitality, hotel industry, residential, high-end residential, commercial, even retail. These are all mature industries in real estate, and we should learn from what they're doing very well, particularly the hotel industry, which is providing a white glove, high-end experience in every contact that you have with the boater. The curb appeal of the facility, the quality of the finishes, the restrooms, the whole finish of the facility, and the way that we interact with those boaters has to be given. We have to give thought to what that interaction is going to produce. How is it going to be perceived by the boater to make this experience better?
And in terms of, we're talking about marina chains here, and sorry, I feel a bit rude that I'm sort of got my shoulder to everyone here, and anyone can pick up on this if you like, but, do the chains see that they have a responsibility to introduce our future boaters? And how are you actually delivering that responsibility to really bring, because little individual marinas little or large individual marinas only have a certain area that they can influence, and with the chains you've got a much larger area you can influence and opportunities that you can give multi-location experiences. So would anyone like to pick up on that?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question. I think it's a great point. As we were discussing before, the industry is rapidly transitioning from service to experience, and having just the right level of service, which is usually what we've seen in the hospitality business already a few years ago, is not enough. both for younger generation, but also for experienced boaters, let me put it this way. Why is not enough? Because with the right level of service, you just complying with an assessment, which is, for example, today you take your taxi, go with the Lagoon taxi to the airport. Okay, you're satisfied, you arrive on time, fair enough. But what is going to make the difference from a customer perspective is to be remembered. That's why experience will make a disruption in this market, and this is where we, as a marina operator, we can really we can leave our footprint in the market. And why? Because just imagine, and the Ferretti CEO was discussing 2 days ago, a boater is arriving in your marina. So he has 5 plugs, right? I mean, it can happen all the time because after our marina, which is well equipped, beautified, the last trend, he goes to the municipality marina, he goes somewhere else. So the guy needs that adapter, right? But then it comes to us. What is going to make the difference is not if the guy has or not the 5 plugs, but if we're going to have that adapter for that boat owner. And that will be the moment where this captain or that boat owner will remember about us, because is where the personalization of his customer experience go to the next level. So this is where, as a D-Marin, we bring the level of service to a new level of experience. And we do usually with a unified operational excellence, as I was referring to before, which is made by a standardized process, of course, the people. Then we have CapEx and beautification to keep our property developed, beautified, and always with the highest standard of health and safety, ESG, and then the customer experience through a rigorous approach of a Net Promoter Score. This is usually our formula. This is what allow us and enable D-Marin to scale up and multiply ourselves into the med sector, in the med market.
And understood, yeah. And so, Andrea, how does, Mauro, in terms of the Italian market, and how do you see you can influence the younger potential boater to come into boating, and are you doing anything through your group?
Well, that's the challenge in our market. I don't think just in Italy, but maybe in all Europe. We have seen on the first day of the conference that boat owners are getting older, so we need to attract new, young to the boating experience. I don't know. I think that this new business model based on sharing, like boat club or other form of boat ownership sharing, could be a good way to attract young people, because what is the desire actually is to enjoy boating experience without the economic and operational burden of owning a boat. I think that's the point. To be prepared to meet these needs, we need innovation. We probably need the courage to challenge some assumption that we once considered fixed. We need managerial excellence, and we, Marinas Group, can deploy its scale. I think that Mr. Hugelmeier, it's right when he said we must collaborate, we must cooperate. I think the role of Marina Chain, Marinas Group, is to act as a pathfinder by testing, learning, and industrializing what works for the benefit of the whole industry.
No, good, thank you for that. And just linking it with another question here, I'm interested in collaboration and how, I think one of the wonderful things about our industry, and one of the reasons that many of us are here, is to collaborate, isn't it? And to share and work together. And so how do we think we can collaborate between chains and individual marinas, family-owned marinas? How can we all collaborate together to actually bring that next generation of boater through who, quite often won't have come through a water sports or a sailing background. They might not have been a member of a club or gone racing or anything like that. So how are we all going to work together to bring that next generation of boaters in so we can fill our marinas in the future? Have we got any thoughts on that? It is somewhat the $6 million question, isn't it, really? If I can use dollars rather than euros, or Johnny.
So there's in Wisconsin on Lake Michigan, which many of you may know is a pretty big lake and a big boat lake. What we've done in at least one marina is collaborate locally with the community to have weekends where boaters can come and take their boat and come in the marina for a weekend just to experience it, because it's intimidating for a lot of people that want to make a jump from owning a small boat to a bigger boat in a marina. They don't know how to do that. It intimidates them. This is a chance for them to try it out for a weekend, and we work with them on how to do that. That's in Racine, Wisconsin. That programs have been in place. It's a small step, but it's something that helps get people into a marina experience to try it out. So that's just one thought.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think also and we're having a session a little bit later on retention, recruitment of staff, so the training side of things. So, that's another aspect of this, isn't it? Is actually exposing the communities around our marinas to the opportunities, the employment opportunities within, leisure marine, the marine industry. And is that something that you're, well, first of all, are you concerned about, finding your future employees? And secondly, what are you doing to encourage, new people to come into our industry? Kenny,
Yeah, okay, so this is I love the subject of coaching, bringing on people. As I said yesterday, so often when you're recruiting someone, you look for someone with yachting experience, boating experience, leisure experience, and this isn't just the management level. I encourage my guys to basically ignore that, because you can teach that. Find a personality that's excited about the environment, pay them well, respect them, and reward them as they progress. And we actively, for example, a lot of our locations, you would have seen it in Mika, you would have seen them probably in Ile de Sol and stuff. We have sailing academies, we buy toppers, we buy lasers, stuff like this. And we encourage local communities to come and especially the young people, to learn to sail. We teach our employees to sail. We even teach our employees how to swim in some locations, because we're in 14 countries, and the water isn't something in certain cultures that people gravitate to. So you've got to promote it. And the training is hugely important. We've got an academy within our own organization where people can volunteer or be bullied by the GM because they've got the qualities to sign up, and then sort of like an MVQ, which is something from the UK, but they then have a series of things that they have to go out and experience. And if I have to pay to fly them to another country, to another facility for a few weeks for them to experience, happy days, do it all the time. Because then they come back with so much knowledge that then they pass it on to their peers. And that actual project is growing and growing and growing. And we're very proud of it. And who knows, one day it might be at a level we can package it and actually sell it, because ultimately we're all here to make money for our investors. But yeah, focusing on your own team and the local community. St. Lucia, we bought a bunch of old boats, and Alan Chastity, who's the former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, was very keen, and on the weekends, children came and they learned how to service the engine, how to paint, what an anode was, and things like this. And it was very rewarding for our employees to share that knowledge with young people. They enjoyed it. They volunteered.
It's a really interesting topic, isn't it? Because there's two sides to what you're saying there. One is bringing, or introducing, the community to boating itself. And one of the outcomes of that is future staff. And also you've got staff that haven't got any boating experience, and you're putting them through boating experiences, which is wonderful. And for me, and it's a conversation that came up in a certified marina manager recently in the UK, is that we all have to take responsibility for bringing newcomers into not only to the sport but into our industry as employees. In the past, I was an apprentice back in the day. There was, companies, the larger companies used to employ lots of apprentices and bring them through, train them, knowing that they would, maybe lose half of those apprentices to go elsewhere, but they took that responsibility. And, personally, I'd like to throw out the challenge to all of you and say, are you taking the responsibility to find our industry's future employees? Because you, as the big boys, if you excuse that expression, you're the ones with the, with the funding and the potential to feed future employees into our industry. Is that a fair challenge to throw at you? Stunned silence. How does that fit with?
I would agree with that it is a fair challenge, and it's something that a lot of young people don't even know that there's a career available to them.
Absolutely.
In the boating industry.
Absolutely.
When I was a kid, if I knew I could be spending a lot of my time on the docks messing around with boats, I would have been thrilled to do that as a young person. So you're seeing that more. I know Fort Lauderdale has specific courses in schools for the marina industry. Other communities may as well. I also agree with comments Kenny made that you hire based on the personality and the hospitality type of personality. We can teach everything else. It's just getting that right person in there that has that mindset to interact with the customer.
And I had conversations with many where you go, actually, you can teach them the skills. You actually need the personality. You need the right type of people so you can actually, you can train them. And Kristijan, do you have challenges in Croatia or not in terms of employees and also bringing those potentials into our industry?
Well, not really, to be honest. Being a maritime country and having all marinas along the coastline where people usually know how to swim, and we don't have these kind of challenges, jokingly. On the other hand, having so many industries, charter and so on, mixed in the marina, sailing clubs, it's really not easy to pick up the right guys with personalities, with the skills that are keen to join the industry and start working in the marina business. Although, on the other hand, for us, we do operate only marina part of the business. The services, for example, the fixing the engine, etc., are outsourced. So we don't employ this kind of the guys. So it's mostly the marinaio people in the marina or the reception. So it's for us, it's really not so challenging. And one to joke at the end, it's we are state-owned company, but people like to join us.
Perfect. And
yes.
Mauro, you?
Oh yeah, I would like to add that we, as Marinedi Group, we have a strong collaboration with local schools. In Italy, there's a lot of nautical schools. They prepare for big ship, but they are interested in sea culture in general. And we have a strong collaboration with the schools, so we invite very young guys to experience period of works in our marinas, and we have a really strong success because we have a return of this guy. As soon as they end the school, they apply to be part of our marinas. So, and of course, to achieve the training and the competencies we are looking for, we invest in training a lot, of course.
Super, thank you for that. Now, I know we're, because Joe's come up onto the stage, I know that we're pretty close to our allotted time slot. But I suppose just one more question from me, and I'm sure people in the room will be interested to hear. So over the last, 10, 15 years, Marina groups have grown significantly, haven't they? So how about looking ahead the next 15, 20 years? So, Kenny, are you going to double in size in terms of IGY Marinas? You know, what's, just to give me a number, give me, you know, where's the growth going?
Well, I'm probably too old to ever see our place double.
I mean, the number's not your age, by the way. The number.
I think it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable. The groups have the funding now. You know, you look at Blackstone, you know, Safe Harbour. They've got big pockets. They've got the opportunities now to go and acquire facilities. We're doing the same thing. You know, we've got, you know, Marine Max as our parent company. We've got the support from Fraser's, Northrop and Johnson. So yeah, it's inevitable, but we still got to support the single operators in the industry. That's absolutely a given, because they supply, I would say, a different product in a lot of locations, which is needed.
Yeah, and you know, connected to their local community and bringing people into the, you know, as we've just been discussing, bringing youngsters into boating. And Kristijan, you were nodding your head there in terms of growth, so you could see it, you know, ACI growing further over the coming years.
Hopefully, yes. I mean, starting 40-something years ago, pioneering as a chain of the Marinas. Now we're sitting here and discussing about the future of the chain, the Marinas, how we're going to further develop. Yeah, as a chain, there is pros and cons being state-owned company, but for the time being, we are concentrated on Croatian market. Who knows what the future bring? What might we go outside Croatia as well? But for sure, we are looking for the possibilities to expand.
Yeah, perfect, excellent. And yeah, I mean, some of you will be aware that in the UK, one of the largest Marina groups has just bought one of the other largest Marina groups, and there's now a significant group of 22 in the UK, which is very interesting. And just finally, Andrea, from a D-Marin perspective, you know, again, you know, is it we were 26, now we're 27, and in 10 years' time, is it 50?
Difficult to predict, of course. We aim to expand our reach in the Med in the forthcoming years. Without saying a number, I think it's important to mention that it's important to scale up the business in a sustainable way. So we will definitely increase our properties. But what we are also interested in is that we see marinas as a living ecosystem, not only by seaside, but also boatyard, also landside, transitioning from normal annual berth KPIs to square meter efficiency, long-term value from customer perspective, additional services that we can supply to our customers. So I think this is really key from an operational perspective. The market will definitely grow for all of us. It's one of the few markets that is not been consolidated yet in the Med. The first company in terms of market share is below 10%. The second company is below 5%. All the rest are below 1%. So definitely the market will be growing and consolidating.
Perfect. Thanks so much for that insight, and thank you for your platinum sponsorship of this conference as well. So I'm going to draw that to a close. Look, thanks so much, and you're getting more active on the app, which is super. And a round of applause, please, for our panel.